And here we are again, back to the Serving Cigar Show, episode 3, part 4, final portion of this episode. We're serious at this point. It was amazing. We had nothing to make fun of each other. I tried, but I couldn't get them laughing.
Well, I got insulted, that's why.
That's right, he did get insulted.
That hurt me too.
What we're going to do now is move to our next cigar, which is the Romeo and Julieta. It's a Toro. It's a $8 to $10 cigar. It's 6 by 50. And why don't we go, John? Why don't you tell us what you thought?
This cigar, I gave it a better rating than I thought I would have. Again, blind testing, I'm all in favor of it. I generally, when I smoke Romeo and Julietas, I don't think they're that flavorful, and that's why I generally don't. There's also a better price tag on them too. But this cigar, I wrote down that it was smooth, it was nutty. I thought it was nutty and very peppery. I like the cigar. I gave it a very good rating. I put down here it's no Silver Lance, and the reason I did that
well, thank you.
Well, and the reason I did that is because the Silver Lance is an $8 cigar, and this is an $8 cigar. And for that reason, I overall gave it a rating of a 3 if I would buy it versus the price.
And as we said, a 3 still means it's a good tasting cigar. I don't want ever to have the thing that if you hear a 3 or above, I'd still buy it, but buy it at the right price. And that's what it's all about. And Avery?
I had both a similar and different take. And of course, let me point out, we're visiting again our friends in the nutmeg state of Connecticut. This is Connecticut Shade. And mine, you know, they call me BT Avery, Big Tough Avery. So normally
Who is that thing, anyway? I'm curious.
I don't hear that at
We're
work.
going to have to hear that once again.
We had a couple different names at work, but we'll let that go. We'll go with BT
That's my
tonight.
back is turned.
Watch every episode. In each episode, I am going to give part of his home address. So you have to watch them all, and by the end, you can go see if he's as tough as he
right
says.
where BT Avery lives.
So, you know, my instinct is to scoff at the Connecticut Shade. Why is out of ignorance? It's one of the most expensive wrappers they have. And one of the things, that, of course, the V-cut worked well, the cap was good, and it had this excellent unlit aroma. And it had this aroma that brought me to my childhood, smoking cigars by my mom when I was growing up. When I was 5, 6, 7 years old.
That explains it.
It had that nice aroma, almost like a home-cooked meal. It made me feel so comfortable, the aroma of that cigar. The appearance was a 4 because there was maybe a little vein or maybe a little bump in the way it was wrapped. But it smoked very well. It smoked perfectly, and then towards the end it went from a 5 to a 4, which is still a good smoke. It did have that nutty flavor. I enjoyed that nutty, peppery flavor, and I got flavor. I need flavor from a cigar. I mean, you ever have like something that does everything but work? Something that looks beautiful, does everything but doesn't work. This cigar worked, and in that regard, with its wonderful aroma and its wonderful burn, I gave it a 5 at any price.
I fell right in there with the boys. This particular cigar, I rated this a 5, which means it's a buy in my book. Even though it's $8 to $10, it's worth it. I enjoyed everything about the cigar. It rated like I said, a full 5. There's not much more I can say unless I just want to take up time. So what I'm going to do is actually go to the next cigar, which is another Romeo and Julieta, Churchill size, and 7 by 50. And each size actually has different nuances because the size, the wrap, everything about a cigar changes the flavors and so on and so forth with that. So why don't we go back to Avery? Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
And we're back to visiting our friends in the nutmeg state of Connecticut. Connecticut Shade. A V-cut did the job. The unlit appearance was beautiful, was a 5. The ash, a 5, firm and white. And there's a lot to be said when that ash is firm and white because that reflects on how it smokes and how it tastes.
Sounds like fish.
I've had whitefish, smoking fish. The burn started to deviate, but then it self-corrected. The taste was smooth, but the taste was lacking overall, and I discussed that. So the cigar had so many things going for it, but the taste was somewhat lacking, and the draw, about halfway through, became hard. And as I said previously, the feminine side of me enjoys a nice, soft, smooth, easy draw. Because sometimes I don't like the back of my ears being sucked into my neck when I'm trying to draw. And, you know, I penalized it, but I do give it an overall 4.
John?
I gave it an overall 4. I hate to start with the end first, but I gave it an overall 4. What I found with it, it was a wonderful draw. You know, what you said is true. The construction, it looks beautiful. It's a $10 cigar. You know, I think what you do, and you go through different stages as a cigar smoker, and you always rate them against your favorite cigar. My favorite cigar right now is the Silver Lance, and this is not comparable.
Well, even though it's different wrapper and so forth, and I'm interjecting here,
no, absolutely.
The $10 and above in my life, regardless of money, because it's not a money issue, but I feel if I'm spending over $10, that baby has got to really make a special occasion out of it. And there's just not many cigars that, I mean, even if I raise my price to $10, $11, some of them are worth it, some of them wouldn't be worth it.
No, I'm with it. Now, when I first started, it had a wonderful draw. When I got about halfway through it, there was about a 5-minute section when it was my ears went into my throat. But it was very tough to draw on, but it got much better. But I ended up giving it an overall rating of 4.
Okay. I actually, on this one, even though I said everything else, I rated it a 5. It just snuck into the category, but it had the characteristics of what I liked. If it's between $8 and $10 and I wanted a light to medium cigar, it really seemed to have fit the bill. Doesn't mean that there aren't other cigars less expensive that might fit the bill, but this one fit the bill for that. What I'd like to do also is talk a little bit about the drink that we actually shared while we were using that. The it was Black Bear Winery once again, the mint honey mead, and I think what could have been one of the problems why some of the ratings weren't as high as we wanted to do, it was a delicious tasting beverage, but to me it didn't have the body to stand up to a cigar.
A full-bodied cigar.
It just didn't stand up to the cigar, and that's why on mine, it's worth buying to me without a cigar. And as a gift, I'll take it in a heartbeat because it's not only tasty, but it's got the right bottle. But it just wasn't strong enough for me to stand up to a cigar. So it would not be something that I would use with the boys over at the house. But that's only one thing. What I'd like to do now is start to wind down our show, and let's talk about our sponsors. Once again, and I'm going to point you over toward this direction here. You don't need to be looking at me. I'd like to thank Rich Anderson's Photography. He not only has sponsored the show, but at our golf tournaments in the summer, before he even knew we were going to do something like this, he's graciously done all the photography and include all our golfers and given them copies for free. Also, I'd like to thank Rhonda Schulte, and I found out that I mispronounced the name in our first episode, but I got that down pat now.
My husband came in.
That's right. Her husband is a member of our club here, and Rhonda is with Realty USA. She'll definitely help you find the right home, and that home is what I stress at. We also have Slippery Rock Cigars. They're just friends of mine that have donated a bunch of cigars. They're friends. If I go to PA, I know I got a second home. We also have the Black Bear Winery, which you've mentioned repeatedly. And we have, of course, Cool 100, which is one of our major sponsors, where you can find our show at cool100oldies.com. You can also find us at sirvincigargroup.com, which you'll see flashed throughout the show. And I'd like you once again to give us calls and tell us what you think about our show at our number 607-743-4272, as well as sirvincigargroup.com, and the proper spelling, of course, will be shown on our background.
And the ladies can contact me at that number.
That's right. Ladies can contact them at that number. What I'd like to do is a special thanks to our special guest, Don. We appreciate you coming down here.
Appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thanks for the conversation.
And I'd like to, as I'm always pausing with the hand, we've got Avery, my co-partner, and my other. So we're tri-partners, John, and have a great night and a long ash. Be good.